Okay, eighth graders. So today what we're going to go over is your diagnostic number 6, the one you took yesterday. So what I want you to do is obviously just watch the problems that you got wrong. Don't be watching the whole entire video. Just watch the problems you got wrong and then write down what I write down here in your darts notebook. And then you're ready to go ahead and do your rescue assignment. So let's go over number 1. So number 1, you have 4 answers. Okay? Or 4 answer choices, I'm sorry. And they're asking you which one of them will have the least value. So what you want to do is actually solve each one of them. Okay, this is part of 6th grade math. You learned this in 6th grade, also in 7th grade. Okay, so what we have is this. So let's go ahead and do this one. This negative tells you, this negative means the opposite of what's inside. Okay, so what's the opposite of a negative 12? So the opposite of a negative is a positive. Okay, and then you bring down the 15. 15 plus 12 will then be 27. Okay, some of you guys probably learned it in 7th grade that a negative then becomes a positive and a positive. That's another way you could think about it. Here, you have the same sign or different signs? You have different signs, so what you do with these two numbers is you subtract them. So 15 minus 12 is 3. Now you ask yourself, do you have more positives or more negatives? We'll have more positives, therefore this is the answer, positive 3. Moving on over here, same sign or different signs? You have different signs, so when you have different signs, you subtract the numbers, so that's 3. Do you have more negatives or more positives? Think about it. You could draw 15 negatives, 12 positives. Which ones do you have more of? We'll have more negatives, so my final answer is negative 3. And then the last one is a basic problem. 15 minus 12. 15 minus 12 is easy. That's just 3. Okay? So now that I solved all the problems, I look at what the question's asking me. It's asking me, which of the following expressions has the least value? Least means the smallest value. Clearly it can be A, that's the greatest value. And look, both of these are 3s. Least means small. Which one's smaller, a negative 3 or a positive 3? What's a negative 3? So the answer should have been letter C. So if you got number 1 wrong, make sure you copy this down on your darts notebook, and now you're allowed to start the rescue assignment. Let me go on to number 2 now. Okay, number 2. This is an equation. Okay, so number 2 is an equation. We have 8 minus 4r, 4 times r, equals 24. So we haven't done these for a while. So the way you do this is you draw your barrier to separate your equations. So you have the right side and the left side of the equation. You circle the variable. Well, the variable is r, but there's a negative 4 attached to it. So I have to grab the whole thing. Okay? So you focus on the side where the variable is at. Is the variable on the right side or on the left side? So is it on the right or on the left? Well, it's on the right. The bubble's on the, it's on the left. The bubble's on the left. So you focus here. Who's not inside the bubble? Well, the 8 is. What's the sign of 8? Well, it's a positive 8. So you do the inverse of a positive 8. The inverse of a positive 8 is a negative 8. If I do it to one side, I'm also going to do it to the other side of the equation like that. So this and this cancel out. This drops like this. These drop. So you have negative 4r equals, don't forget the negative 4, 24 minus 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 16. We're almost done. Now we have to get rid of this negative 4. This is multiplication. The last step of a 2-step equation will always be division. So we're going to divide by a negative 4, divide by a negative 4. You don't change the sign. You only change the sign when you're adding or subtracting. That's the opposites, right? So I like using this face thing because this is always at the end. Okay, this helps me with my integers. I know these become a 1, so r is equal to, well, I know that 16 divided by 4 is 4. So my answer could be letter A or D. C and B are wrong, obviously. So a positive, you have a positive, so I'm going to get rid of a positive, divided by a negative, divided by a negative. What's left over? What's a negative 4? It's a negative sign. So my answer is r is equal to negative 4. And that's the answer for that one, which is letter D. Okay? Let's try number 3. Okay, number 3 says approximate the square root of 90. So we have the square root of 90. Okay? We draw my number line. So I know that it's between square root of 81 and the square root of 100. I know this is 10, this is 9, 9.5. And if you look at the answers, all of them have 9s. So clearly I'm on the right path. Now this is where it gets tricky. From 90 to 100, from 90 to 100 is 10 spaces. From 81 to 90 is 9 spaces. You always want to pick the side that has the least amount of spaces. So I'm going to pick the left side. That means my answers could be 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, and 9.5. If I look at the answer choices, I could clearly eliminate letter C. Letter C is out. Okay, so I'm going to have to choose 9.2. So I'm going to multiply these. I'm also going to have to pick 9.4. And then I'm also going to pick 9.5. Hey, just multiply them out. Now, I'm going to choose the middle one just because, you know, if this one doesn't work, I could easily make my decision which one I should do in after or next. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 9 is 36. 37. So this is 37. Let me get rid of that 1 now. We put a 0 here. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 9 is 81, 82, 83, 84. So this one's 84. Now I add this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is $88.36. That's pretty close to $90. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try doing the 9.5. I'm not going to do 9.2. I could eliminate right away because 9.2 is going to give me something lower. So I'm going to do the 9.5 now. 5 times 5 is 25. Now 5 times 9 is 45, 46, 47. So this is 47 here. 0. I'm going to get rid of the 0 right here. 9 times 5 is 45. Carry a 4. 9 times 9 is 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. So this is 85. Added 5, 7 plus 5 is 12. 4, 5, that's 10. That's 90.25. Look at how close they are. Okay, you want something close to 90. So think about money. $90.25 is over by 25 cents, right? $88.36 is actually under $1.64. You need $1.64 to get to 90. I just went over 25. You always want to pick the smaller amount. So the answer should have been 9.5, which was letter D. And this is number 3. Let's go over number 4 now. Okay, number 4. 8 plus 2. Okay. This one we haven't done in a while, but it should be straightforward. Remember, we always do parentheses first. So in this case, here is our parentheses. But notice that the 2 is attached to the parentheses. So we have to do this section first. So we're going to do distributive property, which means multiplication. So 2 times 2 will give me a 4x. 2 times 3 will give me a 6. And then I just bring down the minus. There it is. Did I touch the 8? No, I didn't, so I'm going to bring it down. Did I touch the plus sign? No, I didn't, so I'm going to bring it down. So this is my new problem. Now, I'm going to ask myself, could I combine anything? Well, I can't combine the 4x with these guys because this one has an x and this one doesn't. So these cannot get combined, okay? So the only things I could combine are the actual numbers. These numbers could get combined. 8 minus 6 is 2, right? You didn't do anything to the 4x, so bring it down, and this is your final answer. 4x plus 2, which is letter D, okay? Now, if you did 8 plus 2 is 10, that is a very good wrong answer. You can't do that. You have to do the what's in the parentheses first. In this case, the 2 was attached to the parentheses, so we have to do that one first. So that is the answer for number 4. Okay, number 5. Rational or irrational? These are easy. This is number 5. Okay, let's look at the top one. Do you know what the square root of 24 is? You have to do a number line. So this is a non-perfect square root. Because it's a non-perfect square root, this is automatically going to be irrational. Do you know what the square root of 64 is? Yeah, it's 8. And 8 divided by 4 is actually 2. That's actually a nice number. That's a whole number, so it's rational. Fractions, who cares if they're negative? Fractions will always be rational, unless if they have like a non-perfect square root or has pi on them, in them. And that gets to this question. That one has pi, so immediately that one's going to be irrational. So your only answers are going to be B and C. Those were the ones that you should have selected. Those are rational. Okay? Let's go on to number 6 now. Number 6. Which is the closest approximation to the value of, oops, you can't see that. This is a cube root of 65. They give you A is 4, B is 8, C is 8.1, D is 195. So, this is a cube root. Cube root. One number, if you multiply it 3 times, will give you something close to 65. Because they said, what is the approximation? Okay? Clearly, I could actually eliminate this one. 195 times 195 times 195 will not give me 65. That's going to give you a huge number. Okay? Now, the way they got 195 was, well, they only did 65 times 3, which you can't do that. That's illegal in math. Okay? So now let's go ahead and do this one. Well, I know 4 times 4 times 4 is actually 64. That is actually close to 65. If I do 8 times 8 times 8, I know that 8 times 8 is 64, and then 64 times 4, 24, that's actually 256. That is way too big. So I don't even have to try that one because that's going to give me something even more bigger. So my final answer should have been A, because 64 is closer to 65. And that was actually a trick one. The reason why we put letter B is because some of you guys probably thought about the square root of 64, which is 8. But we're not talking about square roots here. This is actually a cube root. Okay? So that's that answer. Number 7 now. They give you these expressions. That's letter A, letter B, letter C, and letter D. Okay? This is exponents. You guys should be experts at exponents. That 2 to the third power means 2 times 2 times 2. Plus, that 1 to the second power means 1 times 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus, 1 times 1 is 1. So that should have given you an answer of 9. Okay? Let's go to the next one. 6 times 6 minus 3 times 3 times 3. 6 times 6 is 36. Minus 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is actually 27. So if you subtract 36 minus 27, that's actually going to give you also 9. Let's do the next one. 4 times 4 minus 2 times 2 times 2. 4 times 4 is 16. Minus 2 times 2 times 2, I did it over here, is 8. 16 minus 8 is 8. Okay? Then let's do this one. 3 times 3 times 3 minus 4 times 4. Well, I know that 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And 27 minus 4 times 4 is 16. 27 minus 16, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's actually 11. So I solved all of them. But the actual question is asking me which one's the least. That means which one's the smallest one. Well, my smallest value is clearly 8, which is letter C. That was the answer for that one. Okay, let's go ahead and do number 8. Number 8 was on your diagnostic a while back ago. Okay? Number 8. It says, convert this repeating decimal into a fraction. Well, first of all, we know that this one is rational. Okay? This is on the 10th place, so that's going to be 10. 7 goes here. But since it is repeating, remember repeating decimals go to the 99-cent store. You want a 9 down here. So the only thing you do is subtract by 1. So then you have 7 over 9. And that is your answer, which is letter B. That was the answer for that one. Let's go to number 9. That was the most complicated one. Number 9. So we have letter A. 9 is bigger than the square root of 80. So first of all, we know that the square root of 80 is irrational. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my quick number line very quickly to approximate it. I know this is the square root of 81, and I know this is the square root of 64. So I know this is 8 and 9, and this is 8.5. I know that 80 is somewhere over here. So I could actually pick 8.5, 8.6, 8.7, 8.8, 8.9. My question to you is $9 bigger than these values? It's true. This should have been true. So that should have been one of your answers. Let's go to letter B. Square root of 7 over 5 greater than 3 over 5. Oh my God, they're fractions. Ignore the 5s. They're the same denominator. So let's look at the square root. So let's do the square root of 7 very quickly. The square root of 7 is between the square root of 4 and the square root of 9. I know this is 2 and this is 3. So therefore this is like 2.5. Square root of 7 is somewhere here. So it could be 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, or 2.5 already. Sorry, I forgot that one. Is these values bigger than $3? That one's false. That should have been false for that one. Okay? Let's go look for the next one. Letter C. Let me see if this one comes out on the thing. Yeah, you can see it. Okay. You have the square root of 23 is less than 3/4. Okay? Well, I'm going to do the square root of 23. Square root of 23 is right here. I know that this one is 16. This is 25. I know this is 4, 5, 4.5. 23 is closer to 25, so this one's right here. So my answer could be 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9. 3/4 is actually 75 cents. Is $4.50 less than 75 cents? That's false. Okay? And then the last one is letter D. Pi plus 1 is bigger than square root of 15. Well, I know that pi is 3.14. Okay? $3.14 plus $1 should give you $4.14. If you said it was $3, 3.15, you added wrong. That's not how you add decimals. It's $3.14 plus 1 is $4.14. Now I have to do the square root of 15. So I'm going to do a quick number line. I know that's 16, that's 9, 3, 4. I'm also going to pick this side because look, 15 is closer to the square root of 16. So I can pick 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, but you could actually just stop. Is $4.14 bigger than $3.16? 60 cents. Yeah, $4 is bigger than $3. So this one was true. So your final answer should have been letter A and letter D. Those were the answers for number 9. I know it's a lot of work, but notice that it's basic work, quick work. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, number 10. The quotient of y and 4. So you're given these answers. Okay? So first of all, you need to understand what the word quotient means. Quotient means division. Okay? So knowing that quotient means division, you could eliminate a lot of these answers. I could eliminate letter A. It has a plus sign. I could eliminate letter C. Why would you pick something with an exponent? There's nothing there that tells you to use an exponent, so that's out. Okay? This one, when the number and the letter is attached, or the variable is attached, that's actually multiplication. We don't want multiplication. We want the quotient. So that's eliminated. So the only answer that's left is B. Do you see how I use common sense? If I didn't know how to do this, if I would have just known what the word quotient meant, I could have eliminated all the other 3 answer choices and would have ended up getting the correct answer. So that's the end for diagnostic number 6. Again, hopefully you wrote down only the problems that you got wrong. I feel like after you hopefully you rewind the video and watched it again, you mastered the problems, you mastered how to do it, and now you're ready for the rest of your assignment.